This happened an hour ago, and I'm still shaking in fear about how my life will now become from now on. Playing with myself in VR with sister-in-law's 360 very private video, got caught in the act, now feeling out-of-body experience and don't know what's going to happen. Let's sit back and enjoy the story. There's two situations that leads to the conclusion of the effed up. First situation. Asked sister-in-law to borrow her 360 pocket camera for a trip wife and I are soon vacationing to. Found out the memory card still had content. Her husband travels a lot, and she made a 1-hour POV style 360 very private video, assuming sent to him a while back. I've had the hots for her for the past 8+ years. Before she got married and there were several times sexual tensions arose between the two of us. Living together for a year as strictly roommates, movies, dinners, getting drunk while watching movies just the two of us, breakfasts, etc. A certain trust, or test, was implemented and nothing ever happened between the two of us, as at the time I was dating my now wife, which was working at a distance. But damn it, at the time, if she just had touched my hand once back then, I think I would have lived a whole different life. So finding this video, I thought I struck gold. I could have what I've always fantasized about, gifting my past self, while living my happy current life. Second accident. I have an automated house that lights up the house with geolocation. Before the app worked with Apple HomeKit, a third-party app needed to be downloaded which tracks your family and friends. Free version only allows you to add one person, so my wife. Wife and I have had this app for 3 years now, even if it's useless now, after an app update a couple years back on the original app. We never deleted it since it was so useful for tracking each other using notifications. I get a notification when she's at work, and when I arrive at work, we also both get notifications when one arrives home. Good for times where she does groceries, for example, and I get a notification to prompt me to go out and help her out. Or when I work late and finally leave the office, prompting her to set up the dining table. Last night, she fell asleep without charging her phone. I hate when she does that. Today she goes to work with barely any battery. What if she needs to call the police or hospital for an emergency? I have the day off today. Today was the day I do the deed. I don't only go with simple 360 video, but literally set it up on my VR headset in bed with AirPods on. The whole experience. This would have lasted me tops 5 minutes. But the foreplay she does is long and boring. Then the action starts and I go on. Wife's phone didn't give a notification as she arrived because of her now dead phone. She comes to the bedroom to see me self-playing in bed with VR goggles on. She knows I self-play occasionally, but never saw me do it. I sneak it in here and there. But VR videos was never discussed as an is it cheating if thing. You know the combo I'm talking about. Is it cheating if you have a sex doll? Is it cheating if it's a robot? Is it cheating if you put a pleasure toy on and someone from across the internet strokes you in real time, etc.? It was the type of convo we'd have at the very start of our relationship when we were still friends 10 years ago, to see how far one could take it. Weird, I know, but let's say it was one of these pre-game combos to see if we're on the same page before things started getting serious. Pre-game combos were not only about sex, by the way. Anyways, VR wasn't a thing back then, so was never discussed. So I never knew if it was right or wrong for me to do so. I guess it was wrong since she rushed in and ripped the goggles from my face. That's when I see her in the room. The effed, she says. Then she looks inside. Is that my sister? I'm effed. She still had her shoes on from arriving. So she just grabbed her bag with the VR headset and left the house. Seeing from the tracking app. She's at her parents' house, which are neighbors of the sister-in-law. I'm effed. Update many hours later. So basically this is what happened tonight. Once my wife arrived at her parents' house, that's when I received notification her phone was back on and charging. Some people asked about the app. It's called Life 360. It also gives battery percentage notifications when it runs low or when phone is back on. I was already typing the long story when suddenly that notification appeared, which I last minute checked and wrote she was at her parents' house before posting. So basically, after posting, after feeling a bit better by telling someone and having a bit of weight off my shoulders, I was pacing around the apartment while trying to give her calls after calls, but it kept saying her phone was busy. This went on for 45 minutes, or forever, couldn't focus on the time. All of a sudden, the sister-in-law calls. I ignored. I was way too scared to face this. She called 5 times in a row while I just watched it ringing, then she gave up. Then just a text saying, "Call me." I left the apartment and decided to go watch a movie at the theater, needed to get distracted, which didn't help as I didn't focus once on Detective Pikachu. I received a call from my wife during the movie, but I ignored. She knows I have an Apple Watch and I receive all notifications, so she knows I was ignoring. She only called once. Sister-in-law called 3 more times during the movie. I left the theater and decided to go back home. On the drive back, I received notification she arrived home. Now I was petrified, but my out-of-body experience just told me effed it, suck it up. Just get it over with it, arrived home, was getting ready for the crap storm about to happen. That out-of-body experience came back really quickly to reality as I got to the door, and then had that fear again. I know she got notification I was back. I get in the house, and both wife and sister-in-law are in the living room on the couch. I didn't say anything. Wanted one of them to speak first. What if I said sorry, but there was nothing to be sorry about? At this point, I was trying to gauge the mood. I'm not for confrontations or leading conversations, I'm very introverted. But I know I should be the first to say sorry, but didn't know how. Wife then says I spoke to sister-in-law about what happened. She knows. Effed up in the head of a me, out of reflex says knows what. She says don't lie, the video. I was red-flushed, I'm sure. My heart was beating so fast. Then wife said she has deleted the video. This is when I apologized to both of them, so very, very much. Almost crying. I saw all the comments about divorce and all, and I was really upset at myself, but deserved it, but not, but yes, but no. Then sister-in-law speaks. She says you do understand this video wasn't for you, then she goes on for 10 minutes to tell me what I already know. I was wrong. I kept nodding. But then this drama comes out that effed with me. She said that it wasn't for her husband neither. He's been constantly traveling to Bulgaria voluntarily at any chance he could for work, but also through the years he's been having an affair with a colleague there which works at that branch. She knew for a while and let it slide as he was still providing for sister-in-law. But the providing became less and less. Wife knew too about this as she and her sister are so close, but the info was kept within the family to avoid dishonor. This is a big Eastern mentality to have, and it's not the first time family info was kept secret from me. But now they told me because of the circumstance, I was told not to apologize or speak to her husband as he does not know about this video. Sister-in-law is seeing someone else, her husband and her both live as roommates for now. The divorce word can never go out, but she's found someone long distance, and that video was for him. The reasons for all the calls was to not mention anything to her husband. Sister-in-law feared that if I did, then this video would have been proof held during divorce process as if SHE was at fault. It was a very emotional afternoon. I felt like throwing up many times. The focus was more on sister-in-law and her life though, and her shame for having kept a relationship going as long as it has. The guy is barely leaving any money on the side for her anymore, so she's been sleeping more and more at her parents' house. Me obtaining the video didn't come up more than once. I don't know if it was because it was too embarrassing for everyone or what. But it will come up another day for sure, maybe after everyone has relaxed and tears dried. I'll have an honest conversation with my wife about my wrongdoings and also include if VR videos is fine or not. For tonight, my wife invited sister-in-law to stay and sleep over. We got some food and drank a few bottles of wine to make us forget a bit, although it felt awkward as effed. Sister-in-law seemed to be feeling better. She was smiling and laughing and slapping my shoulder or kicking me under the table every time I made a joke. She seemed more open with me now. I was one of the people to know her secret, she could trust and talk to if she needs. We will all three sleep in sleeping bags in the living room like camping to keep her company during this tough time for her. Wife seemed okay for now too. Update many hours later. By OP's wife. This is his now ex-wife. His life is ruined. Did he not realize, or too dumb to remember we share everything, including the same social media app? I logged on to see this throwaway as the default login account. I've removed all of this personal story for my family's protection and changed this account's password. Although it might be too late and already circulated online. I took a look through the comments and was seriously disgusted by most of the responses suggesting to sexually approach both of us last night. Which my sister did mention he tried something in the middle of the night. This guy is incredibly living in another world. I'm only posting this to reassure everyone thinking he got away with it, that these types of scumbags do not. I came home yesterday with my sister to pack my crap. I saw his update saying I seemed alright, but I was keeping it in for the next morning. The reason we slept in the living room is because I didn't want him to see my bags in the corner of the bedroom. He came home suddenly before I finished packing. It wasn't fun camping or a picnic. This morning, before he woke up, we grabbed the rest of my stuff and left. I went to the bank and froze our joint account before he irresponsibly starts taking cash out. I'm not seeing him anymore, going to lawyer up, give away all this digital gold to the comments that I feel were actually reasonable, and divorce his ass. Oh, and if you can read this, I deleted the tracking app. My lawyer will call you to unfreeze your share and take the steps to unlink me from any other tracking apps you might have on me. Let's see what others have to say about the story. Dude, you are effed. Dude, you effed up big time. Dude, WTF, that's your sister-in-law. Dude, game over for you. Like and subscribe if you love a good story.